Mike Coppinger from ESPN released this list today, and the list is called Top 5 Fighters to Watch in 2023. But the problem with this list is every fighter on it we've already been watching for years. First, you have Canelo Alvarez, who's basically the face of boxing at the moment. Then you have Usyk, who's one of the top heavyweights in the world. Then you have Inoue, and then Devin Haney, who's the undisputed champion of the lightweight division, which is probably the hottest division in boxing. And then to top it off, he has David Benavidez, one of the top 168 pounders in the world. So I don't know what we're expected to watch for from these already established guys. The only thing we should be expecting from all these guys is big fights in 2023. So with that said, I'm going to give y'all my top 5 fighters to watch going into 2023 and what I expect from each of them. Starting with number 5, Lorenzo Truck Simpson. Lorenzo Simpson is a 22-year-old fighter out of Baltimore. He's my favorite prospect at 160 pounds. He came up in the Upton Boxing Center, trained by Coach Calvin Ford and Coach Kenny Ellis. And he also came up training next to Gervonta Tank Davis. And they're not the same fighter at all, but you can tell that there's a lot of similarities. Truck is 12-0 right now with 7 knockouts. But the biggest problem is that he hasn't really been active the last 2 years. He had 1 fight this year and only 2 fights last year, which is really no cause for concern, seeing that he's only 22 years old still. But still, it would be nice if he was more active. As a fighter, he has pretty much everything. He has good skills, good enough power. He ain't the biggest puncher, but he has good enough power. He's an elite athlete. He's very athletic. And the only problem I really see with him is that he has trouble letting his hands go sometimes. You know, he's 12-0 with 7 knockouts. But in my opinion, there's at least 3 fighters that I believe he should have stopped and that he could have stopped if he really let his hands go. And in my opinion, he matches up well with everybody in this 160-pound division that's wide open, that's there for the taking. I mean, I think he matches up well right now with fighters like Jaime Munguia, Janabek, and Ammo Williams, who's probably, in my opinion, another fighter to watch going into 2023. But like I said, I think he matches up well with each of these guys, and he's some of the hottest names in the division. He's only 22 years old. Does he beat him right now? I don't know. But does he give them all a tough fight? I would say yes. But going into 2023, I want to see Lorenzo Simpson being more active. I want to see him with at least 3 fights this year. I believe he has what it takes to be a world champion one day. And he made this post the other day, and that's what it's looking like his plans are. Is being more active in 2023 and taking control of his career. Coming in at number 4, we have the youngest fighter on the list, and Abdullah Mason. Lightweight, 18 years old, out of Cleveland, Ohio, 6-0 with 5 knockouts. Now, when I put this list together, I was looking at fighters who had the full package: skills, defense, athleticism, power, everything. And this kid right here is probably the best example of that on this list. He got everything you can ask for in a fighter. Like, there's no question if this kid is going to be a champion one day. It's already written. The only question is, how long before it happens, and what weight class will it happen at? Because he's 18 years old, and he's fighting at 135 right now, but you can see he has a very big frame. He's a big kid. He's about 5'9", 5'10", and he's only 18 years old. So when he's in his prime, he'll probably be about 147. And he only turned pro in April of this year, and he already got 6 fights in with 5 knockouts. So he's very busy and he's being handled correctly. He signed to Jay Prince and Top Rank, and they're moving him very well. and I expect him to keep moving him that way. By the end of next year, we could be talking about this kid with the top guys in the division. He's that good. And out of all the fighters on this list, I think he has the highest ceiling and the most potential. Coming in, we have another lightweight out of California, Raymore Tyler. 25 years old, 16-0, 13 knockouts. Going into next year, what I'm expecting from Raymore Tyler is for his name to start being mentioned with those other prospects we hearing about. The Keyshawn Davises, the Frank Martins, all those type of guys. Because I don't know if they just don't know who he is or if they're choosing to ignore him. Because this bull can fight, man. I'm telling you, man. He's cracking. Like I said, he's from out there in California. I believe the Inland Empire, somewhere out there. He's trained by Robert Garcia, and he signed with Top Rank. So I don't know why he hasn't been being mentioned with Keyshawn Davis already. You see Keyshawn talking about fights with everybody. But I could be wrong, but I haven't seen him mention this guy yet. So that's a fight that could be made. Keyshawn Davis and Raymore Tyler. I would like to see that fight this year. But I expect big things from this guy going into 2023. At number 2, we have Bruce Shushu Carrington. Shushu is 25 years old, 5-0, 3 knockouts, out of Brooklyn, New York. He fights at 126 pounds, and just like everybody else on this list, he got the total package. Skills, defense, athleticism, good power. He has it all, and he also has a big personality. I can see Shushu becoming a big star one day. But for 2023, I want him to continue doing what he started doing this year. He turned pro this year, had 5 fights. He signed with Top Rank, and I expect them to keep moving him the way that they moved him this year, going into next year. And Shushu, just like everybody else on the list again, I think he matches up well already with the top guys in his division. The Josh Warringtons, the Navarretes, those type of guys. And in my opinion, there's a super fight down the line with him and 2-time Olympic gold medalist Robeisy Ramirez, who's another fighter to watch going into 2023. Shushu has a deep amateur background, so depending on how Top Rank decides to move him, we could be seeing him in a title picture sooner rather than later. And coming in at number 1 on my 2023 fighters to watch list is Floyd Kid Austin Schofield. 20 years old, out of Texas, 12-0 with 10 knockouts. Kid Austin made some noise for himself this year when it came out that he had beat up Devin Haney in sparring pretty bad and even hurt him. And also, most recently, calling out fighters like Keyshawn Davis and Frank Martin. And that's what I want to see from this kid going into 2023. I don't want to just hear you calling them out. I want you to force their hand and put them in a position where the fans are forcing them to fight you. He signed Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy, and as we know, there's a fight in place between Golden Boy fighter Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Tank Davis, set for April, I believe, in Las Vegas. So that would be, if he could get on that card, that would be huge. If he gets on that card and puts on the show, the fans will be calling for those fights that he's been asking for. And the fans put the pressure on enough, those guys will be forced to fight you. Not that they need to be forced. We know Frank Martin will love that fight. Keyshawn's telling us that he wants the big fights, so we'll see. But that'll definitely put more traction on getting those fights made going forward. But that's what I got for y'all. Let me know some fighters that y'all think should have been on the list in the comments. I'm out.